Jealousy at work is the silent killer of growth. Because if you're scared to hire someone better than you, you've already capped your business.
You want to be a young boss, but your sales are stuck. You're burned out trying to find the right people, and you end up doing all of the work yourself. You're bleeding money, and you're fighting to keep your business afloat. I've been there. I'm Isabel Guarino, and I've scaled businesses to millions, and I've watched ideas burn to the ground. And I know exactly what it takes to survive and win. This is Young Boss, the podcast that helps you break through the barriers standing between you and the business you deserve, where youth is your power.
We don't talk about this enough because, let's be real, no one wants to admit it. It's not really about envy, it's about fear. Fear of being replaced, fear of being outshined, fear of being exposed. But here's the truth. The better your people are, the better you become. Strong leaders don't compete with their team. They build teams to make them stronger. Like I always say, you should only be hiring people who are better at the job than you currently are. So today we're talking about why hiring people who are better than you isn't a threat. It's actually a secret weapon to your next level. The problem isn't bad hires, it's insecure leaders. Jealousy often shows up when leaders fear being replaced. As a business owner of one, you have every role under the sun on your plate. And so it's important that once it's time for you to delegate and elevate, that you hire the right people in those seats. Well, many times once you hire someone in that seat and they get excited, they're with you on the ground floor and they're a leader in your business, well, maybe they eventually need to hire people on their team. Oftentimes they fear being replaced because they're so worried. They were that person that you relied on that helped you get to the next level. And now when you were asking them to let's grow and keep going beyond this level, maybe they're a little bit scared because they aren't the ones who can take you there. And when you're asking to hire, they're viewing it as replacement. Many people avoid hiring strong talent to protect their ego or job security. And it happens quietly, especially among young entrepreneurs still building confidence. You know, we've had leaders where I really want to focus on a certain department and I say, hey, let's hire someone incredible in this who can help launch this or take it to the next level. And the person I'm asking to do that, I am not at all thinking of replacing them, but they 100% interpreted my request as I'm looking to replace you, go hire your replacement. I need someone bigger, better, who will work faster, who knows more than you, and they get fear written all over their face. And I've learned this over time that a lot of times you have to really talk them off the ledge and get them to understand that an overworked founder who hire underqualified help just to stay safe, that is one of the dumbest things that you could ever do. You literally have to hire people who are going to take you further and faster and know a lot more than you. So maybe you, as the young boss, aren't fearful of this, but your first tier of leaders who you brought on to kind of get you to that next level, they are afraid of this. And so you need to be the one to be there for them, to encourage them and let them know they're safe. You love them, you want them here, but we need to grow. We need to scale. And if they can't do it, we need to hire someone who can and bring them in on the team so we can all grow and be better. Sometimes you might be afraid to make certain hires because you're scared that they might be better than you and you become threatened. And if you are a C-level exec or someone who started in a business, I think this is important for you to recognize. Sometimes hires feel safe instead of smart, meaning you are bringing someone on because you think that, okay, great, well, they know a bit, they can help us out, they can kind of do the job, but they're not going to necessarily take to the next level. They're not going to say, well, why haven't you done this? Have you thought about this? And they're not going to poke holes. Safe hires are the biggest mistake, time waster, money sucker that you could have in your business. You need to have smart hires, people who will poke holes, people who will come in and say, why are you doing it this way? Didn't you know that the top 10 companies are doing it like this? Let me show you how. Let's fix this. Let's go there. Because they're going to help you elevate. And isn't that what you want after all? Isn't that why you're bringing someone on? To elevate and delegate, right? If you find yourself comparing or being worried about feeling like, am I going to get replaced? then I think that there's only two answers that you can come up with. Number one, do you need to start brushing up on your skills? Do you need to stay savvy in what's going on and what's happening in the market? Or two, you need to take a big, long look in the mirror and look at that ego and say, why am I jealous? Why am I scared? Why is my ego flaring up in this moment? Why am I nervous about this? Is it because I don't feel worthy? Is it because I'm not the one who can take us to the next level? That's okay, but only you can answer those questions. A lot of times what got you here won't get you there, but many times if you just stay innovative, you can take us there. You can't build a dream team while you are trying to stay the star player. A lot of times you got to pass the ball to someone else who will take you over where you need to go. Strong leaders don't compete with their team. They complete their team by surrounding themselves with people who are going to elevate what they're doing. Great leadership means surrounding yourself with people who are going to outshine you. That's okay. I want my team to be better at me than when I was doing that role. For example, when I first got started in our industry, I was sitting in every seat: social media, marketing, sales, ops, finance, you name it. And when we first hired our ops director and they took over our events, everyone on my team was like, this was the best event ever. They did incredible. I could have taken that as an ego hit, like, oh, so my events weren't good. But that's not what they were saying. They were saying, when we have one person sitting in this seat who can focus on it, who has experience and skills and a background, they can 10x this. They can have the time and energy to focus to make it bigger and better than your events. It was nothing against me. It was a praise of me saying, you taught them and they took it and 10x'd it. And I had to really change my mindset to say, don't be offended when someone compliments someone else who took over something that you did. It says nothing about you besides that you are an amazing trainer. So you got to retrain the way that you think.
Hey, it's Isabel from Young Boss, and if you have loved getting to hear from our incredible guests on the show, what are you waiting for? Go check out the amazing directory on the youngbosspodcast.com. We've listed all of their information, where you can find them, and more about their business, and so many of them want to connect with other amazing young bosses just like you, or they want to work with you. So go check it out right now, say hi, give them a follow, and make sure that you watch all of our guest episodes because we really have incredible young bosses on this show. And if you're looking to get on the show too, then make sure you leave us a comment so that we can connect with you as well. Check out the show notes for that directory or head to theyoungbosspodcast.com. Now, back to the show. The better your people are, the better you are. And a real leader hires for strength, not for comfort. Every hire you make should elevate the standard, not protect your status. I remember we were looking to hire in a certain department and I had asked that leader, hey, I'm really looking for XYZ things that are going to launch us to this level. And every person that they interviewed, they were like, oh, I don't know if that's the one. I don't know if that's the one. But when I interviewed them, I knew exactly who the ones were. I was like, these are the people who have the skills who can take us there. And I wondered, why was he pushing back? Why was he nervous or scared about me making these hires? And I realized that he really felt like his job was threatened. And so it's really important that you remember every hire should elevate the standard, not protect your status. If someone is going to get us to the next level, first of all, I wasn't looking for his replacement. I was looking for someone under him. And if they are going to help raise us, guess what? It raises him. So it's not that, it was a replacement, but it's really important that I had that conversation to say, what's going on? Where is this fear coming from? And how do I make sure to ease you into this and let us strategically hire the right person? I don't want to hire anyone who's worse or lesser than me or a director in talent or ability. I want to hire people who challenge me, push me, and have answers that I don't have. And you should want that same thing too. When you have someone on your team who does this, who pushes you to level up, who has skills and background and experience that you don't have, it feels incredible because they help bring innovation to a team that might be feeling a little stagnant. They help bring ideas that you've never heard of or would never think of because you don't have that background. You don't have those skills or experience. So instead of being threatened, get excited, bring them in and feel that excitement because it's only going to help us as a group get better. I think a lot of leaders avoid hiring better
or people who are going to take them to the next level because they are threatened. And to be honest, in our job market, it's kind of scary right now. If you lose your job, a lot of times you aren't going to be able to find something that's bigger or better than where you were. So be mindful of this when you're asking the leaders on your team to hire someone new, that the first thing that they're hearing is not what you said. It's a job threat, and you need to ease that worry, make sure that they know that they're safe, and really reiterate what you're looking for. If you only hired people who intimidated you in the best way, it would 10x your business, because they are going to push you to do things bigger, harder, faster than you've ever done before. Insecurity hires comfort. Confidence hires excellence. And if you're scared to be replaced, you'll never build something that can run without you, because you're going to continue to integrate yourself into every piece of this and actually stop the company from growing. True leadership means building systems and teams that function beyond you. You should be able to sit on a beach in Aruba for 3 weeks and not worry about what's going on, because everything can function without you being there on a day-to-day basis. They know how to make decisions because they know and understand what the end game goal is. Your goal is freedom and scalability, not control, not being in every day-to-day moment. Jealousy keeps leaders small because it forces them to do everything themselves. They don't allow themselves to delegate. Delegation isn't a weakness, it's leverage. It's how you can expand and get to that next level. And if you're not willing to hire someone who's better than you, you're holding yourself back. Your business won't go as far or as fast. Personally, I've taken this in a couple different ways in my business, where when I'm looking to hire someone new, I always am looking at, hey, what skills and experience do they have that I don't have, so I can use that as a stepping stone and leverage that. And many times this has been a beautiful partnership, because what I'm thinking is really next level is basic to them. And I'll also say this, when you hire people in the beginning, they do want to learn new skills. They do want to take it to the next level. But oftentimes after they've been with you for a while, it can start to stall. They stop going to those masterminds. They stop reading those extra books and listening to those extra podcasts. And if you are finding that this is what's happening with someone on your team, hiring someone who is better than them will incite jealousy, because it's going to speak to the stagnant part of them that isn't going as hard as they could be. And to be honest, I think that's a good thing. We should all have a little threat at all times of saying, what if this is taken from me? Well, I'm going to work so hard. I'm going to try so hard. I'm going to learn so much, know so much, that it can't be. You can't scale if your ego is still running HR. You have to get out from behind the scene, and your next level is hiding in the resume that scares you. So go ahead and start hiring those people, start interviewing them. And the most important thing to ask to every interview is basically what can you teach me? This is so important, because everyone who you're bringing on, I love when people hit me up and they say, hey, I went through your entire marketing funnel and here's the 10 mistakes I found. Here's what I would do, and here's what I've done with other companies and how I think we can take it to the next level. Certain industries are kind of known for this, and they do it commonly in job interviews or different, things. But if that's not your industry, take a note from their book. Ask them, what can you teach me? What would you do differently? How would you fix this? And look for candidates who fill your blind spots, not your comfort zones. When you build a team of teachers, of people who are just going to make you better by proximity, you are going to grow so much faster than you could ever imagine. Because to be honest, as a founder, as a CEO, your head is in the sand. You're so worried about what's happening on a day-to-day basis. You need someone to kind of pull it out every once in a while and say, look what's up ahead. Let's head that direction. I don't want to hire anyone that I have to fully train. And that might be kind of a negative thing to say, but let's be honest. I want someone to come in and teach me something. I'm totally willing to train on our company, our culture, and anything that's going to help them get to the next level. But I don't want to show you how to operate a camera. I don't want to have to show you how to be a salesperson or show you how to create an ad. You should know how to do those things and know how to do them better than what's currently happening in our business, or I don't want to hire you. This isn't a seat filler. right? It's a seat raiser. We got to get to the next level. So you need to think, how could the next hire fill a gap instead of just copy a skill set? If I'm just looking for someone to do the exact same thing that I'm already doing as the owner, then hire a VA. Pay $7 an hour to get that task done. Don't go hire a full-on, marketing director or operations director to do the same thing you're doing. No. Ask that teach me question. Ask that what would you do question in your next interview and see how they react, because the right person will know exactly what they would teach you or how they would change your business just based on that interview question, because they've done their research, they know who you are, what you're currently doing, and they're excited to take you to the next level. And that's the exact person that you need to hire. Someone who's going to push you and someone who's excited. If they make you a little nervous in that interview, then that's a sign you should hire them. When jealousy creeps in, it's not about them, it's about you. So take a check on your ego, take a deep breath, and make sure that you are really checking in with that and understanding why you feel that way. Ask yourself, am I hiring for growth or am I hiring for control? Do I want this person to just fill a seat and do that job? Then don't pay them a lot of money, because that is not someone that's going to grow with you. They're just going to keep you maintaining at the same level, but now you're paying more for it because you used to be doing it. Insecurity limits opportunities, and leadership isn't about proving that you're the best. It's about becoming better through others, as a team elevating and growing. If you're threatened by people that you're supposed to lead, double check your head, heart, and soul, because it's probably something inside of you that needs to be managed better. And if you're managing insecurity as a leader or people on your team who are really struggling with this, you need to address it with them as well, because it might be something deeper under the surface and it's going to stop you from having that growth. Now, I also want to say this. There is a difference between confidence and arrogance when you're hiring. Sometimes people in the interview will say, well, I do all of this differently, and this is how I would do it, and it's not at all the direction you're looking to go. If that person isn't willing to take notes from you and say, oh, well, actually, we do this because of XYZ thing. And if they're like, oh, that's stupid, don't hire that person, right? Hire someone who understands, is going to listen to you, but also has that confidence to be able to bring something to the table and say, have you considered XYZ? The moment you stop competing with your team, you start leading. So if jealousy is picking your team, you're playing to lose. Your job isn't to be the smartest in the room. It's to build the room where the smartest want to work. Hire people who are better than you. And if a candidate doesn't scare you, even just a little, they're probably not the one. Like they say, C students hire A students and A leaders hire A players. If you feel threatened, name it, because that's not a hiring problem. That's a security problem. Ego caps growth. Teams scale it. This week, my challenge for you is to rewrite one job description with a teach me line in it, with a show me line in it, so that they can come prepared to that interview to really show you what they would do differently. And before your next interview, ask yourself, where do I feel threatened? What skill would 10x our business? Who already has it? And am I brave enough to hire them? Drop the ego, choose the A players, and let them raise your ceiling and make it your new floor. Thanks for listening to another episode of Young Boss. Be sure to like, share, and follow us on Instagram and TikTok, and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, your youth is your power.